Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
We have a podcast below in the description as well. Subscribe.
We're presented by our friends at Tito's Handmade Vodka.
#1 vodka in America, Tito's. Go make yourself a cocktail.
Check out this. So the Chargers put out a video clip because they're going to have like their own little Hard Knocks on their team website. And they put out like a little 2-minute mic'd up Brandon Staley, the head coach, meeting room. We're all about family. Like, we are about this right here. He's banging on the board. It says Los Angeles Chargers. This is what we're about, you know. And one of the things he says while he's mic'd up is this. I told you guys, best passing offense in the league. We're going to throw this shit down the field. This is what he said during a practice. So what a great team to practice against. This guy, to do that, John, you got to throw for over 400 yards a game if you're going to lead the league in passing. Okay? That's what the Chiefs did last year. They were the only ones that did it. The Bills were at 396. That was second in the league. This guy thinks he's got an explosive offense. This guy can coach defense. If I were him and I looked around the defensive meeting room, I'd feel pretty good because they're stacked in terms of when their talent is healthy. It's incredible. I'd forgotten he probably is pretty comfortable. Like in my head, I imagined him driving down to San Diego to coach this football team, but he's not. He's in the same stadium as he was last year, right? So he's probably pretty comfortable. Same drive from the house, still comfortable.
I think the Rams are more North LA and they're South LA.
Practice
but I'm
facility.
not a great geography with LA. But
Talking about the practice facility.
Yeah, he might have had to move.
But I'm saying the stadium, same stadium.
Yeah, the
Then maybe he
stadium's the
moved,
same,
bigger house, raise.
Yeah, Calabasas. You know,
But nonetheless,
OC
like
or whatever.
the Niners are about to practice against this team. I don't know if you could pick a better team in the league. You know, you go, oh, I want to practice against Belichick. I think these Chargers, I bet they practice pretty hard because I bet, A, they feel like they got something to prove, and their coach is trying to gas them up.
Yeah,
I think this would be one of the better teams that any team could practice against because you get Herbert. It's like taking batting practice in spring training against a guy throwing 98. You got really good players on defense. You got a coach trying to prove something, and you got players trying to prove something to their new coach. So I think practicing against the Chargers actually gives you a pretty good look, maybe a better look than most teams would.
we got to carry on the legacy of the Spanos family. When you think Spanos, you think winning and paying a premium. Actually, no, you think dollar rent. And I actually read this Kaplan guy that writes for The Athletic, kind of did this puff piece on Dean. Now, I was talking to Coward a couple weeks ago, and we were arguing a little bit. Like, he thinks they are kind of booming right now in LA. And in the article, Dean quoted, like, I think we got to give a lot of credit to this quarterback. Like, he's helped us out this last year. They have sold more season tickets this offseason than they ever had for a single season in San Diego. So there is, and his whole point was, like, obviously in Southern California, they like winners. We got this quarterback. People are comfortable with this quarterback. Like, they've watched him just because UCLA and USC fans, well, they do keep an eye on the Pac-12, and this guy was a big fucking deal. And I think we all think he's going to be a star. To me, like, in these practices, is he slicing and dicing them? Because I would imagine the defensive backs, you see Mosley hurt his hamstring, so he might not be practicing all week. It could be, listen, the 49ers do not have a guy, and in fairness, basically every team in the league do not have a guy that can cover Keenan Allen. Derwin James, when healthy, is probably one of the better just man-to-man guys. Remember, he was an all-pro as a rookie because one of his big matchups was against Gronk, and he shut him down. Like, he can cover anybody. He struggles in some of the clips they put out to cover Keenan Allen. Like, Keenan Allen might destroy them. And then they have Mike Williams, who, like, he is just an incredible contested catch wide receiver. Like, who are covering these two guys?
Also, don't forget, remember that guy Jalen Guyton they brought in? I don't know if they've had him for 2 years, but he stood out last year. He's fast. They added Jared Cook. They got Rashawn Slater. He's had a little back issue, John. He's supposed to come back on Thursday. Their first-round offensive lineman. They got Austin Eckler coming out of the backfield. Like, it just tests. The Chargers can test every part of you. Your secondary's getting tested. Your offensive line's getting tested. Your quarterbacks are getting tested. It really is a pretty good matchup from that standpoint. But you're right. It could be guys getting sliced and diced, too. It could be linemen getting beat. John, let's tell the people about our friends at DraftKings, promo code HAM.
Daily fantasy, baby. Download the DraftKings app. Use the promo code HAM. Get in our league. You can find it below in the description. DraftKings, download the app, promo code HAM. Now, you should slice and dice them. Like, to me, if you are a powerhouse team, which I think most people expect this team to be. You and I have been at these practices. I feel they look pretty fucking good. They should be able to not just hang, but push them around as well.
But they got Chris Harris, they got Derwin James, and they got Asante Samuel Jr. in the second round, and they got Kenneth Murray, the first rounder last year, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like, to me, what I've been saying about the Chargers all along, if their coach doesn't need to be a star, if he's just solid, they should win 10 games. Now, we've seen this before, and I think you and I are biased, and probably a lot of people listening. I'm just inherently rooting for Justin Herbert. Like, I am not – if it does go bad, I'm not going to be the first guy jumping off the ship.
We love Herbert.
But we have seen young players just it not go as smoothly as we think. Like, not everyone is just like, rocket ship. I think, and honestly, it's the Patrick Mahomes effect. It's like, oh, yeah, probably just MVPs, Super Bowls. That's the route you take. Like, some guys –
Josh Allen adds to that,
look
too.
Back to, but look – yeah, I mean, he's just only improved. Look at Peyton Manning. Like, it was hard. I guess Luck would have been a guy that was like every year just got better and better, and the team got better. It can be difficult. Now, I think the thing with Herbert,
Manning year 2 was 2013-3.
Yeah, so Herbert could have less statistics this year potentially, and their team win more games, right?
Yeah, I mean, part of it last year was you're behind.
I guess there's an extra game.
If you've got a lead, maybe you can run the ball a little bit more. Right.
Well, remember Richard Sherman when he got hurt and he tweeted like, Jesus Christ, this guy just throws the ball down the field. Like he was just at home watching the games.
Yeah.
He was throwing the ball down the field.
He played with Russ.
In the second quarter. Like they were bombs away. Remember the Tampa Bay game? They were kicking their ass for a minute and Herbert's just bombs away on Tampa. It wasn't just at the end of the games throwing. I think we all assumed that he's just going to be not all assume because there are always going to be haters. Haters, they're loud.
Haters in the building.
I'm rooting for him to be fucking awesome, and if he is, they're going to be really good.
He's such a hard guy to hate. I'll say that for him, but it's just if their offense can even get close to what. Here's the thing: when their coach says, when Brandon Staley says they want to be the number one passing offense in the league. They were like 9th last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They were 9th last year. 382. And the difference between 9th and 5th was 7 yards a game. So they were not far off from being a top 5 passing offense in the league last year. But we had the Chiefs, the Bills, the Titans, the Vikings, the Packers. Yards per game.
It was all good teams then. I mean, the Vikings were an outlier.
But you watch the Vikings; they're throwing the ball all over the place.
Yeah, their offense was elite. So I guess my point would be all the top teams were elite offenses, right?
Packers, Cardinals, Bucks, Raiders, Chargers. That was the next group. So now the Rams will be up there a little bit this year. Like the Rams are going to go up from where they were last year. They were 12th.
What were the Niners?
Passing yards per game. I don't know. It looks like middle, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. ESPN.com. If you could just, for the love of God, put the ranks next to the teams. Like, why are we listing anything if we're not putting the rank next to the team? I don't get it.
Pissed off. I noticed that last year, and I wanted to take my laptop and throw it against the wall. Why would you not have 1 through 32?
It'd be like if NFL's top 100 was a list of players with no numbers next to them. You could figure out 101 very easily.
I mean, it would be as basic as like, imagine if your just checking account didn't have dates next to your transaction. Like, it's just a basic, like, why would you not?
How much gas is in the car? I don't know. It only shows me full or empty.
I mean, you idiots. That really ticked me off.
This is the most basic. Here's the other one they've got. If you go to ESPN's depth charts, they don't put players' numbers next to their names.
I think ESPN they're slipping, guy. They are slipping. The details, the devil's in the details.
Oh my God. Anyway,
I don't even know what that means, but I've always liked that quote.
Yeah, it's a good quote. So I love that. Here's the other. I just love that Brandon Staley's out here, like, setting the standard high, setting the expectations high, because he's putting pressure on his team because he thinks they should be good. And that's the kind of team you want to practice against.
I had a buddy that had worked with him. At I guess he's been on multiple teams, so I won't give it away. And he wasn't that big of a fan, because I think sometimes as a scout, an in-house scout, when you have interactions with a newer coach, and Brandon Staley, he's only been in the league like 6 years. Some guys who kind of come out of nowhere, especially from college, and they've never worked in the NFL, they just carrying themselves like they know everything. And my guy didn't like him. So I remember last year when the Rams hired him and early on the season, I had fired off a couple tweets like, everyone's blowing this guy because Lewis, everyone loved him. McVay, Fangio. My guy was like, I'm telling you, I don't see it. And I just kind of went with it. I didn't know anything about the guy really, besides like Fangio really liked him, and I obviously put a lot of stock in who Vic likes. So I was like, and so does my guy. My guy loves Vic. But he was like, he didn't see it. And I've had to change my tune. Like, I think he was wrong. Brandon Staley, people speak very, very highly of him. And I think
it might have been a little personal.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's hard, right? I mean,
well,
we
remember
all have
Louis Riddick came on the podcast that he had met with him because of Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
A few times.
Think about this guy. Vic Fangio hired him from like John Carroll or wherever. Like if Vic thinks highly of you, like that's probably says all. And then he goes to McVay, thought highly of him. There's no way when McVay hired him, I think we've talked about this before, he couldn't have been thinking one and done, right?
He probably thought, I've got this diamond in the rough, and I'm going to be able to, he's going to be my DC real cheap for the next 5 years because there was no competition to get him.